right, so this is the second awarded teams or awarded projects meeting, which is now being held bi-weekly. And we'll try to make a habit to ask any of the teams that are present if they have anything to share. And that is the part of the meeting that we will record. And this time, Quincy of Carbix would like to inform the community of their progress. So Quincy, go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. So, we've been developing multiple, metaverses for problem solving on climate change, especially dealing with emissions from industrial facilities. So far, we're working on our second milestone. We developed two additional worlds on top of the first world that we made for industrial use. So we're looking at flow glass facilities emissions, cement plant emissions, as well as geothermal emissions. So now that we have all of these three industrial models set up, we're designing the avatar language library to explain essentially to any user how these plants work and where the emissions come from, and how Carbix technology can help solve most of the plant emissions problems, at least 98% of it. Since we are looking at an avatar-based instructor, the AO1s and the AO2 models, so we still have some work to do in terms of predictive language so that the avatars can communicate with the users, especially when it comes to ASL. A little easier to do language. ASL, we're now beginning the feasibility study, and we are also wrapping up our interviews with AI developers. So we look forward to sending out our second milestone with all worlds and updated language scripts and avatars in about 2 weeks. And then from there, we'll continue on with the ASL portion and predictive language models.
Cool. Great to see that progress. And what stuck to me is solving 98% of emission problems. If you manage to do that on a global scale, then you're really making an impact.
I think it's easier to do when we can, we're kind of like looking at this like aliens from outer space, and you get to look into these different facilities, and then we can kind of figure out from our own engineering experience in the field how to tackle some of these huge problems with emissions with technology and other pathways as well.
All right. Well, very impressive. Very impressive. Some time ago for your milestone 1, I had a preview. I had the privilege of having a preview in one of the 3D environments you have created. And you mentioned that there would be an upgrade there as well. Is that also something?
Right. Yeah.
Forward?
Most of the upgrades are going to be in the language model and explaining. So we've updated the reactor technology. So we have actually the complete reactor design. It's built to be modular, so it's inside of a shipping container, has its own comm system, satellite comm system, so that we can operate it remotely and do upgrades as needed. So that is the kind of the jewel of all the worlds that we're using. Now we're just designing in systems to transport emissions into the reactor, create products, and also look for any hurdles that along the way. Since we have the models designed out, we can virtually walk around and see what challenges exist as far as engineering structures and preventing leaks, which is a huge concern for us.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see all the pieces of the puzzle getting together and creating that great experience that will really help us all forward. So
I think the next challenge for us after we create the roles is user engagement. Once you've walked through and you've learned or the user has experienced how to deal with emissions, we want to prevent boredom from setting in. So we're going to be adding some more scenes within like a 2 kilometer radius of each site, so that the user can do something, a bit more social and less, problem solving, so that, we keep attention and then we keep users coming back.
All right, all right. I see some interesting angles there as well, but that's for another episode, I would say. Thanks a lot, Quincy, for this update. I think the community will really appreciate it. Anybody else has any questions?
No, this is super, Quincy. Thank you. I
Thanks,
have just one quick question. So I'm also engaged with sort of teaching a lot of young people sort of AI and Web3. This sounds like a singular opportunity to bring them up with AI, Web3, and sort of metaverse in this climate change or fighting climate change model. So I think we should definitely sort of engage in that at some point in the future.
We love new users. We don't care what age they are, but just as long as they're old enough to manipulate a mouse.
Yeah, younger the better, right? So yeah.
But no, just as long as we can get young users engaged in looking at climate change. And there's so much awareness, and there's a lot of youthful activism in the space that kind of ebbs and flows. But engaging, young people. When I say young, we're talking between the ages of 16 and 24. But these are the the new warriors of the future economy and future technologies. So it would be great to have a strong user base, a youthful user base too. So we'd be happy to share the app, and hopefully it'll diffuse to youthful users, as well as some of the older users. And these are anyone over the age of 24.
No, absolutely. I think looking forward to having that conversation very, very soon, I imagine. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Sabir.
All right, and let me add to this on the topic of avatar-based learning. You already created a small demo for us internally even, but we'll expand that to show how tokenomics work and exchanges, etc., for people who get awarded in the context of deep funding. And we've also been discussing other options to utilize things like avatar-based learning in our own ecosystem, maybe even potentially for a next deep funding round. So very interesting topic with a lot of potential in many different directions, I would say.
Oh yeah, avatar-based learning to us, it has no real bounds. We're just we're applying it now for climate change solutions and emissions solutions. But really, I think avatar-based learning can help a lot of people, I think, accelerate their learning, because it takes away some bias. It can be amusing and engaging to others. We've actually shown it to a few clients. We've got nothing but great reviews. There's always kind of laughter and amusement when it starts. So I think that's perhaps the best way to get someone engaged in something is their amusement and their level of enjoyment in learning a new subject.
Yeah, well, this is going on and on. But
okay, all right.
No, wait. This is one observation that I had from my own experience, is that where I think avatar-based learning can have a real world benefit is that in the case of updates. So if you make so you could also do a video, like we are also doing and doing right now. Yep. But if you would do an educational video on a domain that is constantly evolving, like for instance, everything surrounding SingularityNET, then you would have to redo videos or update videos. And when you do that over time, you have different people with different length of beard and different clothing and different lighting, etc. But with an avatar, all that is removed, and you can just adjust a small part in a larger educational series really easy, and keep the whole story consistent over time, consistent in itself, but also consistent with what is happening in the real world. And I think that is a very interesting benefit.
I agree.
All right, thanks a lot, Quincy, and looking forward to your next update.
Thanks, John.